GM, and welcome to the Where You At podcast, hosted by Marcus Dorson of Up Search, the leading talent agency for hiring in Web3. Tap in as we speak to real people building in the trenches about where they're at in their careers and how they've stepped their game up in their current role. We're dropping career alpha for the culture, the community, and highlighting people who are pushing the space forward.
Excited to launch Up Top's latest segment called Glow Up, where we are spotlighting the remarkable journeys of our candidates as we work together to elevate their careers to new heights. Today, I'm thrilled to dive into the story of my guy, Marcus Mazur. He is a BD lead at Metastreet Labs, exploring how his current role is shaping his career and aligning with his aspirations. Yo, it's great to see you. I think the last time we connected was at the Punks Brunch at NFT NYC this year. I know you're on those NFT streets. Was not surprised to see you there. How's it been since then, man?
It's been good. It's been a whirlwind. New York City was the old stomping grounds for me. So yeah, glad to see you there as well. And other than the rain, NFT NYC was a good one, but things have been good. 2024, some bull market vibes here. It's interesting times, and I'm here for it. I'm excited.
Yeah, man, it was cool. It's like good. It was good to go to New York this year and like just see that NFTs are alive and well and are growing into new segments and are like really starting to get out of just a PFP 10K use case and like develop as technologies. So would love to hear your thoughts on that a little bit. So you and I got connected like right after you left Pinata Labs back in, I think, July 2023. That's kind of a crazy time. It was sort of like NFT nuclear winter. I mean, like, tell me what is going through your head? What were you seeing in the space when you left Pinata in 2023?
Yeah, so my fundamental start within anything crypto was NFTs. I joined trading in late 2021, spent about a year and a half leading sales and enterprise contracts and conversations within Pinata, and basically saw the back end of the bear market, unfortunately. It was super cool to not only be introduced to the ecosystem and to learn about NFT projects and the founders and meet people at these conferences. But at a fundamental level, I got to see what an NFT was and continue to be into the future, really progress. And towards the end of my time at Pinata, it was like, okay, the marketplaces have been, kind of up to speed. We've had within blow off tops within the top projects. So if you saw crazy valuations within the punks and the apes and a couple more projects, and then it's like I felt like with the outflow of the markets, it's like, where do we go from here? What is a smart contract tied to a JPEG, tied to a monkey picture really mean? And I think fundamentally, and the part that interests me the most is culture. People really kind of want to online, associate themselves with other people, find people with like interests. And I think it was things of, or maybe a consequence of the pandemic of really finding people that are internet native and want to belong to a group. And I think NFTs were just kind of the means to an end. But looking forward, I think it's still continuing to progress. Obviously, my time at Metastreet is 10x probably my insight into what an NFT can be, and the development with just markets kicking back up. I think we're watching the token infusion and the combining of liquidity markets at the end of the day kind of push that picture, and that's what we're kind of focused on short term. But I would be lying if I said I had a crystal ball into what an NFT is going to be, because I'm still pondering. I'm hyper adjacent to the communities and obviously following the markets, but I don't know.
Yeah, man. Well, really like mad respect to you for getting through that time in 2023 when frankly, a lot of people left the industry. Everybody's got to do what they got to do to pay their rent or mortgages. But, when we were able to connect you with Metastreet, I know you were like chomping at the bit to get back full time in the space and have been crushing it ever since. So let's talk about Metastreet a little bit. Tell me, like, what is the elevator pitch for Metastreet? What are you guys building?
So essentially, it started out as a fundamental NFT-fi project, right? So we take CryptoPunks, supply it with liquidity on the LST side of things. So we take wrap staked ETH, and then actually create what we dub an LCT, a liquid credit token. So it's a yield-bearing token, like I said, collateralized that position. And essentially you can trade that, but it's kind of just a yield bearing token in essence. But where we're seeing the progression of the markets now, it was in my conversations pretty tough or pretty kind of it was difficult. It was challenging to get people excited about 11 to 17% when you could see a candle on spot with Ethereum, Bitcoin, Solana, etc. In 24 to 48 hours. So we're like, okay, maybe this isn't the right product for a bull market. And that's what we've been kind of considering now is the development within the meme coins. We've seen ERC 404s come out and show some provenance that we're considering. We've seen the development with other projects like Pudgy's really start to take off on the IP side of things. And also like just socials. I think we're seeing the pop up and also potential airdrops that might be coming to different projects. So essentially we're structured capital markets for digital assets, native digital assets. And I think where we're going now is the structuring of possibly like an airdrop farming or points that are super hot or just kind of like keeping in line with what has people's attention. And then you've seen like, Blast and airdrop farmers and other projects really have their moments. But I think it's, maybe a means to an end for the end user. The progression for us has been moving from NFT finance to what we're calling object-oriented finance, where it's essentially structuring capital markets on chain.
Man, that's heady stuff. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not sure I could TLDR this, but it sounds like the start was like, hey, I've got a punk, I can maybe take out like a structured loan against this, and then we'll create kind of this LST that's maybe then tradable against that. Am I like close here?
Yeah, essentially, like I said, take an NFT. We were prominent with the CryptoPunks, mainly for a capital market side of things. It was a decent market to go after, and it was actually the lowest volatility within NFTs for a trading market. So punks from a cultural and art standpoint don't want to sell their punks. They're there for maybe they got in early, maybe they just really believe in the art. And as you've seen at the NFT NYC, the punks brunches is what we call them. They really want to be a part of that community. It's a membership at the end of the day and a very, really cool community. That's something I have had the time to spend with a lot of these punks holders. So yeah, basically take a punk, supply it with wrap staked ETH and created that position out of that. And like I said, we call it LCT and make it tradable for just kind of the expansion of what do we do from here? Because like I said, yield at the end of the day is more of a bear market product and we're looking towards the future and trying to capture attention based on where the market is and currently heading.
Yeah, so let's like going back to your first role in the space at Pinata. How is this role at Metastreet different, and how has this experience kind of expanded your knowledge in the NFT space?
So Pinata for me was the 0 to 1, and I'm actually grateful for Kyle and the team for giving me the opportunity to get me on board and started as a business development there. And like I said, it was just a lot of learning, and especially within this space, it's an extremely fast paced space. Everything changes, in a day, in a week, in a month, a year. So it's just kind of like the opportunity to learn. And like I said, I had some really cool proximity to a lot of like prominent projects, not only with the NFT space, but enterprise, right? So we worked with OpenSeas, we worked with DraftKings, we worked with Rarible, et cetera. And that allowed me to kind of get, or at least further my sales experiences. That's where I came from. I came from a digital market or a digital mortgage lending company in real estate. So it was sales for me at the end of the day, but it was a lot of like relationship management, building up the Rolodex, saying hello to people, traveling a decent amount of bit. And then fast forward to Metastreet, I think it became very focused on the investor relations side, right? So it was become very personal. That, like I said, I know people within the space, so I can go to events and say hello and strike up a conversation with many. And then it was just to get to know the punks holders, which I thought was really cool because every time we would go to an event on behalf of like proximity with the punks, they would always have their own, side ventures, right? They would go to art galleries. They would do different things within that location and they really have their own vibe, frankly. And that was something that I became very close to and very, honestly proud of to be part of those experiences. I'm not a punk holder myself. So like I said, got an inside peek into to who they are as a project and also a community. Yeah, NFT or Metastreet for NFT development for me has been cool. But like I said, the structuring behind it and more of a DeFi yield based focus has been fun for me to progress of because it was pretty, like I said, enterprise from Pinata versus Metastreet.
Nice. So like if Pinata is kind of this enterprise track, like this really gets you closer to true DeFi products, true on-chain finance. And for you, I think that's a big step forward and a big area of growth.
Yeah, for me, and that was the cool part. It was even when I studied finance in undergrad, it's something that I always had an interest in, and Like I said, I had experience in the enterprise side at Pinata, but Metastreet has allowed me to degen quite a bit and play around the trenches in the markets and, get my trading bug out because I was in these conversations anyways. And it's kind of where our native user tends to spend a lot of time, but it also was the progression. I feel like I'm getting my master's in DeFi, right there. Yeah, I work with Connor and David as our two co-founders, and they're two brilliant individuals. Both came from investment banking backgrounds and have that structured, credit background. So it's been really cool to just, like I said, be in the Discord and see them on a regular basis, at least online, to just learn. And I think that's pushing my knowledge forward in my career development and definitely something I want to stay into. I think the capital market space and the DeFi space particularly, I think there's a lot of growth and I think we're going to find a lot of cool things this cycle, and we're even witnessing. And like I said, Metastreet's been having a fun part to play, and I think we're very unique in what we're building. But it's just getting started, and I truly believe that.
Yeah. Well, so how do you feel like this kind of transition from Pinata to Metastreet, how is this kind of playing into the long-term goals you've got in the industry? Like, where do you want to be going, and how is this going to get you there?
It's funny because I've actually been asking myself that question recently, and I'm trying to not fall too plan orientated, right? I'm trying to stay fluid into allowing my experience to kind of like lead me into conversations in opportunities that I don't even know where they could pop up, right? I think you and I met in a rather organic way, and I think that was something beautiful. And suddenly, like I said, I've had just about a year now at Metastreet, so I'd be foolish to think that I have everything planned out. But like I said, I think underlying DeFi is definitely my specialty. I want to continue to learn the financial products and the borrow, lend, yield side of things, and just maybe if there's more structure to a protocol, something that is more specific within these realms. But I'm enjoying my time at Metastreet and definitely enjoying the experience that it's serving and the opportunities that it's allowed. It's opened a lot of doors, and like I said, my knowledge accrual over the past 11, 12 months now has been exciting. And I think just keeping it congruent and seeing what the market presents.
Yeah, man, I love it. And, I think sometimes you got to let the game come to you a little bit. And, good things can happen if you just do good work and keep your eyes open. So, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of curious, like, I have this conversation a lot. I think a lot of eyes are back on crypto. There's a lot of folks that are, outside the industry that are maybe looking to break in. What advice do you give to folks out there that are maybe from like non-traditional backgrounds, non-crypto backgrounds who are trying to break in? Like, what are you telling those folks when they ask you, how do I get where you are?
Get on Twitter, get on Telegram. Those have been my pipelines and my vitals for basically since starting in the industry. And when I was first introduced to it at Pinata, Jonathan was like, "Do you have a Telegram?" I said, "No." He said, "You have a Twitter?" I was like, "I have a personal one. Do I want to keep that one going or create a new brand?" And I actually ended up taking the creation side and kind of. Another thing is also consider who you want to be within the space, right? I think that the cool part of having the crypto ethos to all of this is the opportunity to, demonstrate yourself in a way that maybe is not, purely, who you are at a fundamental level. You can characterize yourself, right? So having an online presence and figuring out what you want from the social side and building yourself up within those channels and in the communities is definitely an opportunity. But you just have to be active. And this is something that, like I said, I was natively spending a lot of time on Twitter anyway, so it felt natural. And then I was just always like, what's the market doing from a price action standpoint? What are people thinking? What are people saying, right? It's a sentiment game at the end of the day. And definitely be wary of the echo chamber that is crypto Twitter. But hop on Twitter, hop on Telegram, DM people, say hello, introduce yourself, and just get the ball rolling. And there'll definitely be a period of time where it's, a game of that. But start with those two.
Yeah, no, I think that's great advice. I think, demonstrating passion and knowledge goes a long way in this industry. And, ultimately people want, as crypto native as you can get, but a lot of times that looks like, hey, demonstrating that, hey, I'm in your Discord, I'm following your content. I saw maybe you were missing this piece of content. Can I write it for you? How can I help you? How can I solve some of your problems? Communicating that directly to the team, because one of the nice things about crypto is teams are really accessible, right? You can reach out to a founder on Twitter. You can get in their Discord and quickly identify who the decision makers are and get something in front of them. So opportunities are there, I think, for people that are looking for them and are willing to do the sweat equity work to get there. They're definitely not handed out for free, but I think that's great advice, man. And look, really appreciate you taking the time today. This was awesome. Excited to watch your career continue at Metastreet. We'll be there to support along the way. And thanks for taking the time today, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me on. And you brought up a great point I'd like to close with. I actually got my first job at Pinata by sending a cold DM from my personal Twitter. Shoot your shot, like you said, slide in the DMs, say, how can I help? What can I learn? What are you guys looking for? You never know. And it was, like I said, it was, a quick turnaround from there, but take the chance. You'll be surprised at the results.
I love it, man. All right. Cheers, buddy. Have a great rest of your day, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Likewise. Take care.